Hi, this is Sophie,
Hi, I'm Sophie.
and we're giving you a nice little video today about Section 4.4 Factoring Quadratic Expressions. Don't freak out. This is not horrible, right, Sophie?
Right.
And it's stuff you know, sort of, in general. For example, like, what are the factors of 18? Sophie, what are the factors of 18?
3 and 6.
Okay, but you're holding those backwards.
Oh.
Remember? 3 and 6.
3 and 6.
3 times 6 is 18. And we know how to find the greatest common factor, the biggest number that will divide evenly into both numbers. For example, if we have 24 and 16, Sophie, what is the greatest common factor? 4. Yes. So that's basically, in a nutshell, what you're doing today.
Yep.
So enjoy the video,
Yep.
and we'll see you again.
And have fun. Bye.
Yes, have fun. Okay, so let's look at this example. 18cd squared plus 12c squared d plus 9cd. So it says find the GCF. The first thing we're going to do is look at the numbers. We have 18, 12, and 9. And we need to find the biggest number that goes into all of them. What you can do is say, let's move the paper up a little bit. 18 is 2 times 9. 2 is prime. And 9 is 3 times 3. 12 is 4 times 3. And 4 is 2 times 2. And 9 is 3 times 3. And then say, each one of them has a 3. So 3 is the largest number we can divide into all 3 numbers. Then we look at the c's. We have a c squared, and a c. So at most, we can only take one c out of all of them. Then we look at the d's. Here we have a d squared, a d, and a d. So again, we can at most take one d out of all of them. So our GCF then is 3cd. You have to include the numbers and the variables. Okay, so when we're writing out our answer, you write out your 3cd, and then you divide each one of these by 3cd. Now, 18cd squared, we're going to have 18 divided by 3 is 6. The c's will cancel. One of the d's will cancel, and that leaves us with one d. And you can double check by saying 3cd times 6d is going to be 18cd squared. Then we have plus 12 divided by 3 is 4. 2 c's on top, 1 c on the bottom. So we end up with 1 c. And then our d's will again cancel. So we have 4cd. Then our c's will cancel, our d's will cancel, and all we're left with is 9 divided by 3, which is 3. And that right there is your answer. Just like taking out a greatest common factor of anything else. All right, now, if you have a quadratic function, which is ax squared plus bx plus c, and the a equals 1, so that it really just looks like x squared plus bx plus c, like our equation down here, which I'm sorry is so light, x squared plus 7x plus 10. What we're going to do is you're going to take that c, the 10, and put it on the top of an x. So this is where c goes. Then you're going to take b, which is the 7, and that goes on the bottom. So you make an x, you put the last number here, and the middle number here, And then in these two spots, you want to think of two numbers that multiply to 10 and add to 7. You can do that by saying 10 is 1 times 10 or 2 times 5. And which ones of those will add up to equal 7? Multiply to 10, add to 7. Nope, 1 plus 10 is 11. Hey, 2 and 5 work. So you'd put your 2 here and your 5 here. And then those numbers you put right there. So x plus 2 and x plus 5. So let's do an example. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so here we have x squared minus 2x minus 24. This number here goes here, so we multiply to negative 24, and we are going to sum to negative 2. So off the top of your head, you might know it, but if you don't, then you're going to simply say, well, 24 is 1 times 24, 2 times 12, let me move this, and 3 times 8, or 4 times 6. Then, we're multiplying to a negative 24, so one of these numbers has to be negative. And if the sum is going to be negative, we know that the bigger number is negative. So, which pair is going to add to negative 2? This one. 4 plus negative 6 equals negative 2. And it doesn't matter which one you put where. You could put negative 6 here and 4 here. That either way is fine. So then you take these two numbers and you're going to write x plus 4 and x minus 6. Just that easy. That 4 becomes that, and that negative 6 becomes minus 6. Okay, let's try another one. X squared minus 7x plus 12. The 12 goes on the top, minus 7 goes on the bottom, and we need two numbers that will multiply to 12 and sum to negative 7. So here's 12, 1 times 12, 2 times 6, or 3 times 4. And remember, this is a negative 7, so because a negative times a negative is a positive, we know that all of these have to be negative, and then we look for which one becomes negative 7. We got negative 1 plus negative 12, that's negative 13. Nope. Negative 2 plus negative 6 is negative 8. Negative 3 plus negative 4. Hey, there we go. Negative 3, negative 4. So we have x minus 3 times x minus 4. Sometimes we're going to have a number in front of here. What you're going to do is you're going to say, I don't know how to do it if there's a number there. And even if I did know how to do it with a number there, that's harder. So you're going to take and figure out if that number goes into the other two. Can we take out a greatest common factor? We know that x doesn't go to all of them, so we can't take out any x's. But 4 goes into 25 times. And then we get out our calculator and we say 56 divided by 4, and we get 14. So we know that first we can factor out that 4, and we get x squared plus 5x minus 14. Okay, straighten this back up there. So then we do know a nice simple way to do that one. We put that negative 14 up top and 5 on the bottom, and we say, okay, 14 is 1 times 14 or 2 times 7, And because this is positive and this is negative, we know one of them has to be negative and the bigger one is positive. So -1 plus 14 is 13. -2 plus 7 does equal 5. Great. So to answer it, we say x minus 2 times x plus 7, but don't forget that 4 out in front. And that's your answer. And finally, we come to my favorite. If you have two things which are squares, and there's a minus in between them, then you can break them into a plus b and a minus b. Take the square root of each of these and put them as the factors. For example, we have x squared minus 49. So the square root of x squared is x. We have a plus, we have a minus, square root of 49. Square root 49 equals 7. Plus 7 minus 7. And that's all there is to it. Okay, if there's a plus here, stop. You cannot do this with real roots if there's a plus, which basically means at some point in life we'll show you something that will have some sort of answer, but for right now it's prime. In your homework you'll have a question like this: 4x squared minus 25. In which case, don't get freaked out by this number, because you can just say square root of 4 is 2. So square root of 4x squared is 2x. So we have plus, minus, square root of 25 is 5. And that's your answer. All right. And have a great day.